Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. The Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring. And hello again, dear ones. Dr. Robert with you here on a Friday evening. It's 5 o'clock on the Mountain Time Zone, and that means it is time for the good news. That opportunity we take every week to share the good news stories that I have found across the internet, and I trust will make for some great conversation throughout your weekend as well. Thanks for being with us. If you're watching live, feel free to chat along, join the conversation. If you're watching a replay at another time, hey, you're welcome to leave a comment as well. Let us know you're out there. We'd love to say hello. All right. First up tonight, I love this story. This is a pretty cool story, actually. The world's largest battery is on the way. In northern Maine, a company is planning the largest battery ever made by humans with an 8,500 megawatt hours of storage. Now, this runs a little different than most batteries. They're using a term called reverse rusting. The inside of the battery is iron, and as the battery stores electricity, it takes on oxygen from the air, turning the iron into iron oxide, also known as rust. When the battery discharges, the oxygen is released and the oxide is removed, leaving the iron pure again. Now, this system is not usable for everyday electronics, but at scale, this is much better and about a tenth of the running and manufacturing costs of using lithium-ion batteries. A company called Firm Energy, they received a $380 million in grant money from the Department of Energy for different projects all over North America. 147 of that million is going to this battery project in Maine. With over 8,500 megawatt hours of power at maximum capacity, the battery bank could power up to 8,500 homes for 100 hours. Pretty cool. They also say the amount of power it contains would allow an electric car to circumnavigate the world 1,288 times. The batteries stand 3 feet tall, or about the size of a side-by-side washer-dryer unit, and 50 of them make up the station. All this according to Live Science out there. What a great, you all know me. I love the tech stories. I love a good tech story to remind us that we're figuring out how to make all these things in life work a little bit differently. Hey, if you have a good news story or you'd like to be a part of the good news team, by all means, send us an email, goodnews@ntmedia.org. Perhaps you saw a story we should be paying attention to, or you'd like to do a guest segment and sit in and share the good news with the world sometime. We'd love to have you. Please, again, send us an email, goodnews@ntmedia.org. All right. In Los Angeles County, a new LA commuter train is pollution-free. And it's all about, let's get this, sorry, there we go. And it's helping to combat the smog and the global problem but especially what we have in LA. Liquid or gaseous hydrogen is considered the best green alternative to the heavy fuels that power society's largest machines. And this train is made by Zemu, Z-E-M-U. Zemu is just a few months away from starting routine service from San Bernardino and Redlands to LA City. Zemu stands for Zero Emissions Multiple Units and possesses several advantages over other decarbonized rail transport. Electric trains often recharge with overhead lines. Those can require millions in funding to install and maintain, and just are not practical for the long distances that we need for higher speed trains. The reality is it can be used anywhere. Existing rails happen now. That's according to Tim Watkins, the Chief of Legislative and Public Affairs at the San Bernardino County Transit Authority. They're the people putting the whole project together. The biggest thing, says Tim, it doesn't require a new capital investment into infrastructure. Now, all of this is being made by a Swiss company, Stadler. The Zemu trains take on hydrogen fuel that is split into hydrogen molecules, generating the energy that recharges an electric battery, and that battery powers the train's motors. The battery is also recharged by braking, and the only emissions of any sort is water vapor. I think it's going to enable a lot of places to decarbonize without having to make extremely expensive investments in infrastructure. That, again, is Mr. Tim Watkins there. He said that in an interview with Fast Company magazine. Green hydrogen made using renewable energy sources is expected to be available in the not too distant future. But even if the trains lead to CO2 entering the atmosphere, San Bernardino needs zero emission transportation, and fast. The area has been given an F grade for air quality by a leading air quality index survey and suffers from more days of smog than almost any other city in America. Cleaning up San Bernardino's air, and all with the help of the hydrogen powered trains. I love it. Good news, good news, good news. And hey, you know, folks, we do get most of our good news stories over at the goodnewsnetwork.org. We invite you to check them out, stop in, turn on their website, give them a little of the love and attention they deserve. They do a great job of making sure we have good news stories to share with you here on New Thought Media Network. All right, I'm not too sure about this next one here. I got to be honest with you. A simple, cheap food dye, it has the potential to make your skin transparent and give doctors a new look into the human body. Like I said, I'm not sure I like this one, but it sounds like it could be good and helpful and useful. What we're hearing here is that by applying a mixture of water and a common yellow food coloring called tartazane, researchers made the skin on the skulls and the abdomens of live mice see-through. Now, it's all described in the journal Science, so we do know there is some validity here, and it gives medics a new way to see organs within the body by rendering overlaying tissues transparent to visible light. This is yellow dye number 5. The technique needs to be tested on humans, as some food dyes do have negative side effects, so let's not run out and try this on ourselves, folks. However, the scientists did say the process was reversible in tests with animals, and scientists say it may ultimately apply to several medical uses, from locating injuries to monitoring digestive disorders and identifying cancers even. Dr. Gusong Hong of Stanford University, who helped lead the work, said, looking forward, this technology could make veins more visible for the drawing of blood, make laser-based tattoo removal more straightforward, or assist in the early detection and treatment of cancers. He continued, for example, certain therapies use lasers to eliminate cancerous and precancerous cells, but are limited to the areas near the skin's surface. This technique may be able to improve that light penetration. The researchers have developed a way to predict how light interacts with dyed biological tissues, and the predictions required a deep understanding of light scattering, as well as the process of refraction when light changes speed and bends as it travels from one material into another. Again, don't just go rubbing yellow dye number 5 and some water all over yourself, folks. Researchers concluded by saying, now that we can make tissues transparent, it will allow us to look at more detailed dynamics and will completely revolutionize existing optical research in biology. Well, now I can believe that in a big way. Good news, good news, good news all around, folks. And hey, we're going to take a real quick break here to let a couple of our sponsors say hello. But we've got a whole bunch of good news coming your way, including our hero of the week. And it's a good one this week, folks. So you want to stay tuned. Stay with us. We'll be right back in just a minute after these messages.
The New Thought Men's community proudly presents New Thought Men's Summit, Foundations, an online conference, September 22nd through 27th. Register today at www.newthoughtmens.community. Join your host, Rev. Eamon Duffy, and a collection of new thought leaders as we explore the principles and practices of sacred masculinity. New Thought Men's Summit 2024. Join our daily sessions, crafted to help you embrace and expand your experience of spiritual masculinity. Come experience a safe and sacred community of men, committed to doing the work of conscious evolution. Come be inspired. Featuring 22 new thought speakers, ministers, and visionaries, sharing their wisdom of modern spiritual masculinity. Register today at www.newthoughtmens.community. New Thought Men's Community. Empowering wholeness, centered in spiritual living.
Yes, folks, I am super excited to be one of the presenters at this year's New Thought Men's Summit. It starts just a little over a week away, and you can register today, newthoughtmens.community. And the beauty of this is you don't need to be a guy, you don't need to be a man to watch, to sign up. Ladies, you're welcome to join us and sign up and hear what some of these men have to say, and you may find something that you find useful to share with the men in your life. Join us starting on the 22nd. Sign up today. And hey, if you haven't already, we're part of a great program in conjunction with a number of great leaders, over 40 different spiritual leaders that are sharing their thoughts on how we can tune out the fear and tune in the vision. This is a daily phone recording, and every day until the election here in the United States. So we're in the middle of it. November 4th is coming up quick. Join us for your election intention, 100 days of mindful practice. My next entry is coming up in just another week or so. Next Monday the 24th, I think is my next one. All right. Let's get back into it. More of the good news here on the New Thought Media Network. And I found this to be a really, really interesting story. Now, I always knew that there was a lot of waste in the tennis industry. I didn't know that over 300 million tennis balls are manufactured every year, and the large majority of those are thrown out. Well, not any longer. A Belgian eco-designer has begun to repurpose some of those into bespoke furniture in a circular way that ensures the rubber and felt balls don't end up in landfills. Matilda Whitlock and her team can hand carve 1,800 balls a day into micro cushioning elements for a chaise lounge and a bench, which are her two flagship products. You see her on the chaise lounge here. To put that into perspective, there were 70,000 tennis balls were used in the recently concluded U.S. Open. They take around 2 to 3 weeks to make, but once they're finished, these people fall in love with this furniture. With the fuzz of the tennis balls, can be dyed to match interior colors as well. Now, it does take about 24 different manufacturing steps to make a tennis ball, and that takes around 5 days. With such a short lifespan, Whitlock told CNN in a video call from Brussels, "I was looking into tennis balls because I played tennis myself, so I know there was a lot of waste. Looking to find innovative resources or recycling of the material." Now, eco-design is about circularity. So when you're done with your chair, you can give it back. And they'll take it, shred down the chair, the tennis balls that are in the existing furniture, and turn that into play mats for children. Good company coming out of Belgium. Thank you, Mathilde Whitlock. We appreciate the work that you're doing to make the world a better place as well. Here's another one, and this is, if you ask me, this was just super interesting. Despite Central Appalachia's ecosystem having been historically famous as coal country, underneath their diverse broadleaf canopy lies a rich, biodiverse world of native plants, helping to fill North America's medicinal herb cabinet. As it turns out, the very communities once reliant on the coal fields are now bringing this botanical diversity to the country. Many different Appalachian people, stretching from pre-colonization to today, have tended, harvested, sold, and used a vast number of forest botanicals like American ginseng, ramps, black cohosh, and golden seal. This is all according to Shannon Bell, Virginia Tech professor in their Department of Sociology. These plants have long been integral to many Appalachians' livelihoods and traditions. 50% of the medicine herbs, roots, and barks in the North American herbal supply chain are native to the Appalachian Mountains, and a bulk of these species are harvested or grown in Central Appalachia, which includes southern West Virginia, eastern Kentucky, far southwest Virginia, and eastern Tennessee. The United Plant Savers, a nonprofit with a focus on native medicinal plants and their habitats, has identified many of the most popular forest medicinals as species of concern due to their declining populations. Now, along with the herbal supply chain being largely native to Appalachia, the herb gatherers themselves are also native, but because processing into medicine and seasonings takes place outside the region, the majority of the profits from the industry move outside the region as well. In a press release on Bell's superb research and advocacy work within Appalachia's botanical communities, she refers back to the moment that her interest in the industry and the region sprouted when, like many of us, she was out in the nearby woods waiting out the pandemic. She said, "My family and I spent a lot of time in the woods behind our house during quarantine. We observed the emergence of all the spring ephemerals in the forest understory: hepatic, spring beauty, bloodroot, trillium, mayapple. I came to appreciate the importance of the region's botanical biodiversity more than ever and realized I wanted to incorporate this new part of my life into my research." Good news, and good work. Thank you, dear one, for being a part of the solution as well. The herbs of Appalachia could just be the answer to so much. Good news. Hey, I've got another good news stories about the wilderness here that I thought you might like to see as well. This one is a California tribe has become the first indigenous group in the lower 48 to be named co-stewards over a national marine sanctuary. Now, this has been going on for a while, and what is happening here is this sanctuary extends out into the waters between the technological capital of the world and the Hollywood Hills. The Chumash tribe has been campaigning for decades to achieve this status. Since 1969, the Chumash have been advocating for the preservation of the unique coastal ecosystem that supported them for generations, one in which a delicate balance of coral, kelp, sharks, dolphins, whales, and seals create a beautiful seascape. Since 2015, tribal leaders have been trying to get the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration to designate it a marine sanctuary, and it's been nearly a year since the Chumash were months away from clinching that designation. Well, it all happened on September 6th. The NOAA concluded the final regulatory step regarding the proposed Chumash National Marine Sanctuary with the issue of a final environmental impact statement. Under NOAA's preferred alternative, the bureaucratic term used to refer to the ultimate mixture of regulations to govern the area for conservation, tribal use, and offshore wind energy infrastructure, the sanctuary would include over 4,500 square miles of coastal and offshore waters along 116 miles of California's central coast. Good news, good news, good news happening along the coast of California. You know, anytime we get the government involved, folks, it can take a while. And this time it took over 9 years, but heck, we got it done. And we're moving into a new stage here with this marine sanctuary. Good news, good work. All right. Hey, we're going to take another real quick break, say hello, and thank you to some of our organizational sponsors and individual donors. But we've got more good news coming up in just a minute. Stay with us. We'll be right back after these messages. Please help us say thank you to our organizational sponsors, including the Hefferland Foundation, Affiliated New Thought Network, International New Thought Alliance, Science of Mind Archives and Library Foundation, Center for Spiritual Living Denver, Center for Spiritual Living Midtown, New Thought Philadelphia, Planned Happiness Institute, Summit Center for Spiritual Living, One Heart Retreats, Center for Spiritual Living on the Lake, Unity Kitchener, Unity Spiritual Center Ottawa, Om Center for Spiritual Living, Satya Center, Begin Within Ministries, Center for Spiritual Living North Jersey, Unity of Savannah, and the Center for Spiritual Living Seattle, as well as all of our individual donors. Thank you for being part of the New Thought Media Network. Please like, share, and subscribe. New Thought Media Network, positively inspiring. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you, thank you, thank you to all of our organizational sponsors and individual donors. It's thanks to folks like you that we're able to share this good news out into the world and all of the programming here on New Thought Media Network. And we've got a lot of that each and every weekday and throughout the weekend. More inspiring media and flavored with the New Thought philosophy. We're grateful that you're with us. All right, back into our good news stories for the evening. Check this one out, folks. This is kind of cool. You're looking at Ross, Maine here. Now, Ross grew up as a very close with his grandfather, William, and William was a beekeeper and gamekeeper, and he regularly took Ross to check on his bees. Well, William passed away from cancer in 2007, and Mr. Maine assumed his hives had been sold. Not long after the birth of his own son in 2017, Maine was inspired to try and find the hives. It took quite a bit, and eventually they were able to discover the presumed lost or sold hives had just been left to abandoned. He traveled from his home in Scotland to the East Lothian quarry where his granddad kept the hives and discovered an original colony that had been taking care of itself for all these years. The hive was hundreds of meters down an overgrown track, and falling apart, he said. 7 years on, out of nostalgia, I went to the quarry and there was still a hive there, said Maine. In that moment, I knew I wanted to look after the hive and rehome the bees, and I started learning from there. He started to teach himself beekeeping using videos on YouTube, of all places, collecting the bees from his grandfather's original hive, donning a beekeeping suit, and transferring the colony to their new home. He then grew them into a population of 5 million bees, split into around 100 colonies, all descendants from Williams remnants. Ross's business, Maine Apiaries, now sells honey to farm shops from 3 different harvests a year. He said that being around the bees could be quite scary because there were big swarms and I was quite young, but it really captured my imagination. I started with one hive and they naturally multiplied every year. Over the years, they've gradually built up and we've split them into new hives. As he learned the trade, Ross began expanding his colonies, gifting the honey he made to friends and family, and eagerly sharing his experience with anyone that would ask. In 2021, he took the next steps and started his business, Maine's Apiaries. In addition to selling honey, Ross offers beekeeping experiences to prospective hobbyists and sells colonies to businesses interested in keeping honeybees on site, maintaining the hives himself throughout the week. The idea of showing other people the bees came from the first time my grandfather took me to see the bees. He opened the hives and it was quite a magical thing just to be seeing the swarms of bees. It was an experience I'll never forget, and I wanted to offer it to other people. All right, on. Good for you, Ross. Thanks for taking care of the bees and the honey and the colonies and helping them to expand as well. You know, folks, it does take human interaction for conservation to sometimes take hold, and our next story is just that as well. The San Diego Zoo is celebrating the birth of a Sumatran tiger cub. There's only this is a subspecies of which only 600, give or take, remain in the wild. The cub was born August 23rd to first-time mother Jillian. The birth is an important step in San Diego Zoo Wildlife Alliance's ongoing work to conserve Sumatran tigers. Wild care specialists are closely monitoring the mother and cub, and they report Jillian is quickly taken to being a mom and has been demonstrating all the expected and correct maternal behaviors. Good news happening in the zoos of San Diego. Might have to make a trip to San Diego just to see the new tiger cub. I bet it'd be lots of fun. All right. Hey, this next story really did catch my attention because we've got what we've got here for you, folks, is a Boy Scout and his family were volunteering at a local food pantry when he realized the outdoor seating was in need of a little bit of TLC. Looking for a project to help him get nearer to his title of Eagle Scout, and despite having little experience in carpentry, 14-year-old Simon Starnes got to work. Sister BJ's Pantry, run by Sister Barbara Joseph Foley, offers free meals to the homeless with a special community emphasis on Friday and Sunday mornings when those less fortunate patrons come to sip free coffee and take a long breakfast on the days when the nearest food bank isn't open. I went to volunteer there for the Sunday mission, which is making breakfast for the homeless, and then handed it out to them. But as I was doing it, I saw the tables were in bad shape, and a lot of them were warped and splintering, said Starnes. I kind of wanted to help fix that. I thought if I built those tables, it could definitely help make the experience a lot better for the people needing them. Now, he hadn't built any tables before, but he got the plans off the internet, of course, followed a few YouTube videos, and before we knew it, we had a whole new set of tables. Thank you, young man, for being part of the solution of what's happening here instead of the ending of it all. All right, folks, I'm running just a little over tonight, so let's get to it. Let's get to our hero of the week. When Lila Leatham saw her mom collapse into an epileptic seizure, she remained calm and knew just what to do. She knew she was supposed to call her grandmother, but her mom's phone was locked. The 4-year-old ran upstairs and asked Amazon's Alexa to make the call instead. Her mother, Leah Big, had fallen unwell at their home in Somerset on August 25th, and family members had previously shown Lila how to use Alexa for phone calls, as her mom often suffered from seizures at night, which can be life-threatening. But they had no idea the youngster was listening until she was called into action. I had a call from Leah in the morning. She said she had a big fit in the night and bitten her tongue. That's according to her mother. Then we texted a few hours later, and she said she didn't need me to come over and was just resting. It wasn't long after that I had a call come through from Leah's number. Not a video call as usual. When I answered it, it was Lila saying, "Nana, Mommy's having a fit." I told her, "Go to Mommy and stroke her hair and tell her it's going to be okay. I'm on my way." Young Lila saved a life that day, saved her mother's life. What a great news story. Thank you, dear one. You may never see this, but please know you are our hero of the week. Thanks for being with us. Folks, I'm Dr. Robert. I'm going to get out of here for now, but I want to thank you for being with us. If you have any questions about what we're doing here on the New Thought Media Network, please send an email, info@ntmedia.org. That's info at newthoughtmedianetwork.org. We would love to connect with you. And please be with us tomorrow morning, bright and early, 9 a.m. Mountain Time, for our Science of Mind and Spirit conversation series. Happens every week on Saturday mornings. Take a deep dive into the philosophy of the science of mind. Until next time, I want to wish you peace and richest blessings. Bye now.